Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to another episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. This is the podcast where we have both sides. We represent both sides, representing. Ryan is tonight is wearing his appropriate colors. He's got the blue. He'll be the liberal side.
Josh
Josh
has no idea
is
what color he's wearing because it's red.
reddish, some plaid,
Magenta?
kind of
He's red-green
representing
colorblind, so he has no idea what he's wearing.
Are you colorblind?
He is. For all he knows,
Oh, yeah.
it's gray.
Gosh, yeah.
I know it's not gray. I found out I was colorblind playing you in Risk.
Risk, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
and you know I have three brothers that are colorblind, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
they're the
thought
worst.
I had, legit, I was playing you. I was with Ryan. I remember the game. I thought I had suddenly taken over Europe. And I was like, wow, I am doing so good. And I started
This.
moving your pieces. And you're like, what are you doing, you idiot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now my brothers just use it to cheat. That's like, oh, I thought that was my piece. Yeah. All right.
Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I thought that
Josh
was fun.
is, yes, conservative, represents the conservative side, and I try to moderate and keep my opinions to myself. Yeah, good luck.
And he's
we're
wearing
gonna be
black.
talking about
I don't know what that means. Yeah.
the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro. I'm not one of you Spanish speakers, guys, so you'll have to correct me. Maduro.
Capture or kidnapping? Ooh.
That'll be part of what we're going to talk about. The president of Venezuela. Legitimate or not legitimate? We can talk about that. Yes. First off, bidets. Get a Lux bidet. We're big fans of Lux bidet, and it's Lux because it's luxurious. So
Indeed.
And Deluxe.
I don't have heated water, but I think bidets are great. Yours is heated, right, Ryan?
No, I don't have heated.
you
I
don't
put
have
in an outlet to get one. But I don't think Lux actually has. I should double check. I don't want to misrepresent
they do.
Lux. Do they have a plug-in one that heats it on?
Oh, I don't know if they have a plug-in one.
I don't think they have a plug-in one.
I need to
They
look
have
into that myself.
They have a heated one where you can turn it, like you can plumb it to hot water.
That's what I
know
had.
they have that. Yeah, that's what
So
you
my-
have, Josh.
That's
You
what
have
I
that.
had. It's now a smoking ruin sitting in a landfill.
House
My
burned
current-
down.
My current one is the one I'm using here at my in-laws it's cold. But my old one was heated and my butthole loved it.
Back to the Stone Age, man. Cold water bidet.
Yep.
Ugh. How do you live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A day like today, you guys could use it. Josh and
Yeah.
I were talking weather.
cold.
Apparently, it's cold there.
It is very cold right now.
fine. I
Starting to
won't-
feel like winter finally.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
in January.
I won't mention the temperature here today.
Douchebag.
Uh,
Already off to a good start. I already hate Ryan.
right. Let's jump into this. So, yes. So, what is this? Like 3-4 days ago,
Saturday
U.S.
morning.
goes in. I mean, this is pretty big news. So most people have heard about this, right? We just basically kidnap. We did kill a few
38
Venezuelan
soldiers,
security,
at least.
forces,
Yeah.
and snatched him up. And he's now in the United States and already appeared before court and pleaded not guilty to charges, which I don't
Yep.
even know exactly what they were. Like
Drug smuggling. Yeah. So supposedly he's helping
bad-
drugs get into the U.S., but
bad person
The
charges.
No one
actual
actually
charge is Trump doesn't like you. How do you plead?
the actual charge is Trump wants your oil. How do you plead?
How do you
That's
plead?
the actual charge.
No, I disagree. Because
What?
there are plenty of countries where Trump wants their oil too, but he really didn't like Maduro, and Maduro called him out. We'll get into that, but Maduro's like, "Come and get me, you coward, cobarde." That's the charge. Trump didn't like him because he called him out.
All right. Well, I guess we'll discuss that, but this is all about oil. So, all right. What else you want to say, Tom? So he's been charged with drugs.
Charges: narco terrorism conspiracy, conspiracy
Wow.
to import cocaine into the United States, and possession and conspiracy to possess machine guns and destructive devices. All right. There's some additional charges too, but
I'm guessing nobody on this call actually believes those charges mean anything in this case.
well,
They're
He'll probably get convicted of them. Yeah, they probably are.
True.
But
probably
no one actually cares.
But that's not what this is about.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
We've got common ground. We're done. That's it. Like, I don't even need to go on.
No, there's more nuance to this.
Oil, but other than that,
there is oil.
It's all about oil money.
All right, Ryan, you want to lead this, or you want me to? I can start throwing out things, but do you want to go into it?
I've got, like Josh, I think I've got several pieces. I think the part that I want to start with, let's keep it simple. Let's just go with the oil, right?
Yeah.
So we'll start with that one. I think we'll find common ground, and then I've got two other pieces that I do want to bring up. So the first one, like we just talked about the charges, the trumped up charges, pun intended, that, like, yeah, maybe he'll even get convicted on this, right? But again, no one thinks that that's actually what this is about. No one really cares about the idea that he was like bringing drugs into the U.S. or helping facilitate the drug trade in the U.S. At the end of the day, whether this was the actual motivation or not, I mean, I think it was a big part of the motivation. Trump wants the oil. And if you've listened to what if you listen to what he's said since then, we're going to control Venezuela. We're going to control the oil. They're going to start sending this oil. And I'm going to be the one who personally decides how the oil money gets spent. Like, those are all things Trump has said in the last 4 days. Yep. He is personally saying that he is going to manage the oil revenue that comes from Venezuela. It's kind of shockingly brazen how he's just like, yeah, we went in to take him out, but it's really because we want the oil. And he's literally saying, like, our big oil companies are going to go in and rebuild their oil production, and we're going to take all of your oil money, which is ours in the first place. We deserve this. So, like, that's just point number one. Do you guys have any, like, pushback on that?
Did either of you seen the Jon Stewart bit on this whole this?
No. What did he say?
So good.
It's really good.
So good. It's basically what you're saying, right? It's like it keeps showing clips of Trump saying, we're gonna steal the oil, and he's like, well, at least we're being honest here, right? It's not like we're gonna liberate the people or anything. No. And then there's this great scene where there's this reporter, and it's like Lindsey Graham, and they're on Air Force One, and Lindsey Graham's like, this was a bad guy, and he was doing a lot of bad things, so it's good that we've liberated him and got rid of this guy. And then Trump, like, leans over and he's like, and we're going to take control of the oil, and we're going to sell him the oil. Just to be clear,
Lindsey Graham is trying.
I don't care about Venezuela.
They don't care about Venezuelan people at all. Like, come on. So Tom, you're at least on board. Josh, you seem to have some, like, pushback on this. Come on.
Well, not on Trump and the oil. On some of the other ramifications of what this mean and what it did, yes. But like, Trump's been, like, kind of kudos to Trump for at least being transparent. Like, it's pretty weird.
He's always transparent about his greed, right? Like, I don't think he's ever hiding the fact that he's just a greedy bastard who wants as much money as possible.
Yeah, well, kudos to him. Like, he's not couching this like you said. I agree with you there. He's not saying, yeah, we did this to liberate the Venezuelan people, which is, I want to talk about that. I think he's not saying enough of how much he just didn't like Maduro, because Maduro, like, kind of wanted to stand up to him, called him a coward and stuff. I think that definitely plays in. Let's not understate Trump's ego when it comes to that.
And pettiness. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay, like, I'll push back on that. It's not just the oil.
He's also a petty dictator and a tin pot dictator. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm down with that.
Okay, so but there is more to it. There's more to it than just the oil. But I'm not going to push back on that. Clearly, that's probably like 85% of why we did this, or why Trump did this. I don't want to take credit for it.
Okay.
Common
ground.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a long episode. What are we, like, 5 minutes in, and we're like, we're done. We're good. I do have 3 other things, but somebody else go.
Okay. I do want to establish a few things. Just some, like, make sure we're all on the same page. So, one, was Maduro do you believe he was legitimately an elected?
No,
Like, okay, so we're all clear there that this guy was essentially
he
a
lost.
dictator.
He lost the last election, and he's still the president. Okay,
Yeah. I'm
that's
not going to fight that. I do want to come back to that issue later. Not about him being legitimate. I don't think anybody really recognizes him as legitimate, and I don't think he was a good guy. So I'm certainly not trying to defend Maduro. I just think it's a bit more complicated. Not him being elected. What we did, I think, is complicated. So
Yeah. Well, and I'm more just setting precedents of
yep.
like, so like people like there was so I mean for anyone who doesn't know, right? There was Hugo Chavez that was before. There's a predecessor of Maduro, and basically he nationalized a bunch of the state and or a bunch of the state assets, including
Oil.
oil. Like, and so
Yep.
basically they're like, oh hey, PB, British Petroleum and everybody, yep, sorry, we're taking all your stuff, and so they took it all over, nationalized it, and have since the actual production has gone down significantly because of
Mhm.
mismanagement and different things.
and
But
to be fair, Trump has kind of used that as an excuse, saying, "Well, these guys stole all of these American interests and BP interests. The Venezuelan people or the Venezuelan government, the socialists, they stole from American companies." That was one of his talking points on why we're going to steal it
yeah,
back.
yes,
Which I mean, he's not wrong. Um, it's weird.
Yeah.
it's interesting. Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know that I would say he's not wrong. I would also say he's not right.
Yeah.
And here's why I would say, like, I'm always conflicted about this, and I think Alaska is actually a really good example. Okay, maybe the Venezuelan people are not the best at extracting their oil and selling it on the world market, and they do have the world's largest oil reserves, right? So that's been established, and this is probably part of what the motivation. But what really bothers me, and this is an issue that I did want to bring up, is who should get the benefits of the natural resources of the country? Should it
right.
just go to foreign companies, which
Well,
almost exclusively are owned by foreign shareholders and not the Venezuelan people? And this is why I brought up Alaska. Alaska has a lot of oil. And what do they do in Alaska to make sure that that's quote unquote fair? I don't think it's perfectly fair, right? But they're doing something to try and address this. Are you guys aware of what they do in Alaska?
they pay people to live
Yep.
there.
They pay people to live there, right?
Yeah.
So they're extracting the resources. The assumption is you're a citizen of the state of Alaska. Those are your resources because you're a citizen of the state of Alaska. So you get a cut of the
Well,
oil money that comes out, right?
part of it too is Alaska sucks to live in. Like literally right before the
Right.
podcast. I'm like right before the podcast. My buddies, we were talking to my buddy Hunter. Shout out to Hunter. He actually wants to come on the podcast. He's a faithful listener. He's an awesome dude. He lives in Alaska. We were just asking him. Our other friend Dylan was like, He said, "You alive in the minus 11-degree weather over there, Hunter?" And Hunter said, "During Christmas,
Barely.
we went up to the North Pole." Up by Fairbanks, it was negative 35 the entire time and negative 45 at some points. We just had this conversation. I'll show you my phone. So shout out to Hunter. There's a reason you get paid to live up there.
Well,
It was negative
yes.
45 degrees and he was driving his kids out to see stuff in that weather. So
Okay, fair,
Yeah.
but it's also because
Probably a low
it's
homeless population.
it's their natural resource, right?
Sure.
And so, and I get like the idea of a government nationalizing infrastructure that was built by a foreign company. That's problematic. I'm not trying to defend that. But I also really don't like the idea that foreign companies can come in and extract all of the natural resources from a country and
Sure.
not give any of that back
But-
to the country. I think that's deeply problematic.
Well, okay,
and
wait,
this
wait,
is
wait.
why we hate Iran, and this is why
Can't-
we hate a lot of countries.
You can't say they didn't give anything back. Unless I'm mistaken, the standard of living 30 years ago in Venezuela was higher than that of the U.S. They were very wealthy people before they adopted socialism.
I mean, I actually don't know the numbers of that. I would be astonished if their standard of living was better than the U.S.
was.
I mean, probably for some
I,
people.
I believe it was. I've seen those numbers.
This is
Maybe
a
we can
checkable
verify
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, check it. But
I will
before they
check it.
adopted socialism, that country was doing great. Then they adopted socialism. I'm never going to pass up an opportunity to smash on socialism
I
because
know
it's
you're
the
not.
worst. Well, look what happened to the country. It turned into a crap hole when they when they not privatized, when the government what's the word, Ryan? You just used it.
Nationalism.
When they nationalized
Nationalized.
everything. The country went to crap, like absolutely went to crap. And
Well,
that's something I want to talk about here.
Yeah.
Is
that's kind of
I
what I was
just
trying to
double-checked.
establish of like a few things. Like
Their standard of living was not better than the U.S. So
it was,
but it was
how good was it? It was much better than it
was
is now.
it was good for Latin America, but it was not anywhere close to the U.S.'s standard of living. When you said that, I was like, "There's no way that's
so
true."
relative to
The rest
the
of Latin America,
surrounding,
it was
yeah.
good.
So, but that was the other thing I was trying to establish was like there's been like Nicolas Maduro has and his predecessor have not been good to the people. There's been cases of like mass starvation.
This says they were the fourth ranked GDP in the world in the 50s and 60s.
Okay, you said right before Chavez took over, right? If you want to say the 50s and 60s, that might be different. According to this,
Chavez,
the
like,
reason why
90s?
Chavez took over is because it was 40 to 50% poverty rates. So my guess is there was such extreme differences in equality, right? So there was so much
Right.
inequality. That's why they actually turned to a socialist, is they're
Right,
like,
right.
oh, he's going to help us.
Interesting.
So
I
my guess
imagine
is the 1990s was radical inequality, and they were
80s
like,
and
we're
90s,
done.
declining oil prices and the lack of diversification led to stagnation. So,
Probably some corruption.
but
that's why Chavez took over.
But it was at some point
They were doing well. Sure.
they were doing really well down there.
Yeah, but not in the last 30 years, right? And why they switched to socialism is because they were doing so bad. Now, again, I'm not defending the socialism in this case, right? I'm not. I'm saying, under Chavez and Maduro, it got way worse. They had millions of people leaving the country because they couldn't find jobs. Bonus, my turn for a shout out. My dentist is Venezuelan. She left the country because of all of the horrific corruption and how bad things were. And now she's amazing. She's a great dentist.
One of the few sovereign states that we should have allowed, like had legitimately could say that like they were refugees or refugee status of
Yes. So
that's what I would agree. Like, okay, you guys got problems, you can come. Everyone else, you're just trying to get a leg up.
Yeah, I've mentioned most of my renters in my apartments are Latino immigrants. 3 of the families are Venezuelan, and they let's be clear, it wasn't just a bad economic situation that they were fleeing from. A couple of years ago, everybody in Venezuela was starving, and the government rolled through the streets with their soldiers and just shot anybody that wasn't, under obeying the martial law and in their houses. And they were raiding the zoos to try to find food to eat. They're eating the lions and stuff, right?
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
Yeah. So it wasn't just there's no jobs. But these are dictators running these Latino countries.
Yeah.
So let's be clear about that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody on this podcast is defending Maduro as like a bastion of good leadership and benevolent kind of,
Is he a better leader than Trump, Ryan?
Great question.
That is a good question. I mean, I'd have to sit down and actually think about it.
Wow.
What?
Wow, that's silly. That's silly.
Is crazy.
Oh my gosh. What a dork. Okay, let me segue out of that. Okay. This is one of the and again, I don't think Trump cared about the Venezuelan people.
No,
but
not a lick.
2 years ago, I was down at the apartments and Maduro had done something, and one of my Venezuelan renters had like spray painted on his car F Maduro in Spanish. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They hate him that much. He defaced his own car to write that on there. Okay. These people hate him. And what we saw on Saturday in the aftermath of the kidnapping of Maduro, a lot of Venezuelans were celebrating. It seems to me the vast majority of them are quite happy about this. So let's make sure that point's on the table as well.
Yeah,
Venezuelans hate this guy.
Totally fair. I agree. I mean, it's just like a reality thing. I think so. One, the leadership of the country hasn't fallen, right? So that which
Yeah.
is complicated, but I think there's also a lot of trepidation among the Venezuelans now that they're listening to what Trump is saying, right? If Trump had said, "Oh yeah, the dude lost the election and he was a scumbag, so we came in and we took him out for you, and we
Yeah.
have liberated Venezuela," right? Which is what all of the people around him are trying to get him to say.
Yeah.
Then maybe they would have been like, "Yeah, awesome. We love this." But now he's just like, and we're going to take all of your oil wealth and we're going to rape your country for the next 50 years. And there's nothing you can do about it because
I want
we're
you
bastards.
to thank me for it.
Yes. I think there's genuine trepidation among the Venezuelan people now because now they understand, oh, he didn't actually do this for us. He doesn't care
right.
about us.
No.
So, yes, they're cheering, but they're also scared shitless.
Yeah.
Probably should be.
So, okay. What
I have more
are
stuff,
we
but
clear on why he did this?
well, Josh wanted to add something about Maduro taunting Trump. Did you already add it, or
Oh,
did you
well,
have more
yeah.
to say on that?
There's been some tit and tat going back and forth for a couple months when Trump started blowing up their boats and that kind of stuff. And Maduro had that big speech where he said, we're not afraid of you. I'll stand up to you. Come and get me, you coward. Like, that's not the right thing to say to the man that's in charge of the most powerful military in the world and is not afraid to use it. And he's got an ego. Like, that's just pretty dumb there, Maduro. So I don't know. I mentioned that a couple times now. I think that was part of the impetus for Trump, honestly. But maybe that's just me.
Maybe, you might be right, which would be horrible, but
Would it be surprising? Like, I don't think anybody's surprised by that.
Let me throw a little wrench in there, right? This is the president who said that he was going to get us out of all the wars and end all the wars. Now, I understand he didn't necessarily start a war, but he did invade a sovereign country, right? Like legit, he just went in.
Yeah,
Right.
but he didn't start a war.
Okay.
Okay,
he kind of did, though. I mean, he's
let
been
me-
blowing up boats in the Caribbean for the last, what,
Well,
4
okay.
months, 5 months,
But he
and
didn't-
has put 15,000 troops in the Caribbean, which is the biggest troop buildup that we've had in decades.
But
He
let's
was
be fair.
effectively starting a war, right? And then he just curtailed the war.
Okay, let's be very transparent and fair about this. Probably there's no war started because Venezuela is well aware that if they went, okay, we declare a war on America, the next day they cease to exist, right? They're not standing up to us in any way, shape, or form. Okay. That being said, let's give credit where credit's due. Whether you like that they went in or not, this was a really fast, almost bloodless way to do this, because we kind of did the same thing to get rid of Saddam Hussein, and that turned into a 10-year war and lots of people died. It was the same kind of thing to get rid of bin Laden and the Taliban. That turned into war and lots of people died. There was really bad leadership. So credit where credit's due. Whether Trump had anything to do with it or we just had a really smart general in charge, this was a really freaking precision strike to go and extract this guy. We didn't lose any Americans, and yes, Venezuelans died. I don't like that, but pretty impressive for just as a military operation. Very impressive. That's cool. When you step back from the morality and the politics, the military operation was done really, really well. So credit where credit's due. Trump did this.
He had no planning. Come on, you know that he wouldn't plan this. He gave the permission to do it. Okay, so I loved how you said that. Like, take the morality out of it. It was well executed. Yes. Okay. So when I first heard, like, they actually pulled it off and didn't lose a helicopter, like what happened with bin Laden.
Impressive,
right?
Impressive. Yeah.
Now, we did have our soldiers, some of our soldiers were shot, right? So the pilot of one of the helicopters was shot 3 times in the leg, managed to survive. The helicopter kept flying, so they didn't lose the helicopter. I think it was a total of like 8 or 9 of our soldiers were injured at some level. There were, there were people getting shot. I just looked it up. There were about 100 Venezuelans who died. So if we don't bracket the morality of this, that was one of the other points that I wanted to bring up, right? So I'll grant that, like, well-executed military extraction.
Yeah.
Totally granting that. Now can we talk about the morality of killing 100 people to extract the president and his wife from a country? Because I don't think that's getting enough attention in the media that we killed a bunch of people,
Yeah.
right?
No, sorry. You're saying you want to talk about us killing a bunch of people or us taking their president?
Like, we killed a bunch of people to take
Two
their
different
president.
things.
Yes, they are two different things. But like, we genuinely went in and killed 100 people.
Yeah.
30 something were military personnel. That means 60 something were not.
Mhm.
How many innocent civilians should die in order for us to capture somebody who is alleged to have dealt some drugs?
But yeah, the morality of it doesn't hold up. Just plain and simple.
Thank you. Hooray.
Well,
Thank
like,
you. I love that we found common ground. Tom, go, because like this is the part that's really getting me.
well, I always get this is a weird thing. We talked about this before with the boat, the like some Venezuelan boats might have been fishermen and not actual drug smugglers, and you're like, I don't know. People are dying every day all over the place. Like we seem to have a selective empathy of like, oh well, the people in Gaza are dying. Well, guess who else is dying? There's people dying all like there's people in Nigeria dying. There's a whole genocide happening in Nigeria and like
Big one.
in Sudan
Yeah,
is like
Sudan,
they're
not
slaughtering
Nigeria.
each other there, and it's like we're always like yeah, and like
They're black. We don't care.
well, kind
It's
of,
only black Americans apparently that we have to care about. Like,
and
Yeah.
it's like yeah, people were gonna die, and I would have been shocked if no one was hurt, right? Like
yeah.
this just part of it, and like I'm actually surprised the number's so low, right? That we didn't like
That's where I'm giving credit.
yeah.
Because
There is collateral damage in every strategic move that's done anywhere, and it's just like that's kind of like the price of doing business in a sense on a
yeah.
like foreign
Okay.
policy scale.
So what if it was Tate?
Yeah, horrible, right?
That
You're
wouldn't
talking about
change
my son, right?
your moral calculus in thinking through this. That it's like that. I mean, that was somebody's son, somebody's daughter, somebody's
Oh,
husband,
absolutely.
somebody's wife.
Yeah.
These are
Sure.
people. 100 people died for us to go in and capture Maduro and his wife, and basically just so we can extract oil. Josh kind of agreed with me. The moral calculus immediately, as soon as you say that, it's like, no, not acceptable, right?
It-
That's where I stand. Like, okay, sure, well executed. The dude is a scumbag. We can all agree on all of those things. I don't
Well,
like the idea that 100 people had to die for this.
okay, let's dive into that.
Yeah.
If we were like Saddam Hussein, right? He was gassing his own people. He was a monster. Okay, if we could have gone in and just grabbed him, and Bush was essentially he sold that saying there's weapons of mass destruction and we're trying to free the Iraqi people or whatever, right?
Which is bullcrap.
Yeah, but if that's the actual case, if Trump was trying to free the Venezuelan people, if that was honestly the goal,
Which we already established was not.
it wasn't. But
Thank
okay,
you.
but we're establishing the hypothetical. Okay, if that
Yes.
was actually the goal,
Yeah.
the calculus does add up. Okay,
Agreed.
Because
if that was the
these-
goal.
The problem with Desert Storm and Iraq and Afghanistan, we invaded these countries. Our military
Boots on
did
the
an
ground.
amazing job, and then we created insurgencies because our politicians took over, and it turned into this long, drawn-out slog. And our politicians created these insipidly stupid rules of engagement where the insurgents have to shoot at our soldiers first, and then they can shoot back, even if we can see them carrying AK-47s. Like, it's just insane. And there's a French philosopher general that I'm blanking on his name. I really like his stuff, and he says the only humane thing to do in case of war is to win it as quickly as possible, despite even though there will be collateral damage and civilians die. You have to win it as soon as possible, and you have to have goals, because if you don't and you drag it out, civilians suffer way worse. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
just a fact of warfare. So there is a calculus you can put on human lives, even though every death is a tragedy. If we were doing this for some moral cause and trying to free the Venezuelan people and establish actual liberty and agency, the calculus adds up. Just going in because Trump didn't like the guy and wants his oil, I'm sorry. if that's the factor, then one person getting a hangnail, the calculus doesn't add
Thank
up.
you. 100% agreement, Josh. 100% agreement.
Okay. But like, this is not just as simple as like, he didn't like the guy and we were going to get his oil, right?
It's
We
not. There are
understand that
ramifications. That's Trump's view on it, but there are more ramifications of what he did. Yes.
justifications of why he's doing it and what, like, the geopolitical strategy of it, right?
For the U.S., for Trump, this is 100% self-enrichment and petty settling of
let's jump
grievances,
on that.
Right?
Let's jump on that.
Trump doesn't have any more of a moral compass than, does this make me money, and do I not like this person because they said something mean to me at some point? That's it. Like, he's not more complicated than that. This is how awful of a human being he is.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that.
What do you mean we don't know that? We had 4 years of him, and we all saw it, and we've had another year of him.
Let me just throw this out there.
About it.
Let me just throw this out there, okay? I saw like Glenn Beck, and I've seen a couple other people talking about this. And this, I think Tom was probably heading here. The geopolitical ramifications of this. Venezuela, Maduro, he was aligned with our geopolitical enemies, Russia and China. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
So you have this nation that's pretty close to the U.S. And they have huge strategic oil reserves. That makes a big deal on the geopolitical stage when it comes to sending oil to China, for example. Okay, if Trump takes control of the oil, this does weaken China, who they are a danger to us. Whether essentially you could characterize them as the Axis powers.
Are you buying any of this?
To try to simplify this, okay?
Are you really buying this? Like, this is the reach beyond reach, right?
I don't know that Trump has even made that claim. Maybe he has.
No,
other people have.
Not.
And I think there is something to that.
Please.
I don't think this is Trump's justification, but I think this is the fallout of that.
No, I 100% believe it. I'm going to take it a step further. We are on imminent conflict with China.
Yeah,
imminent.
I think so.
They will be trying to extract Taiwan at some point. We know this will happen. Absolutely will happen.
Yeah, and we just embolden them by showing we're okay with it.
Yes, and that's the part I'm going to agree with you on, that we've actually allowed China justification, right?
100%.
To be
that is the real consequence of this.
I don't see it that way.
And we're going to talk about foreign policy. I read a really good article about this that I think we need to talk about the bigger ramifications of foreign policy. If you haven't read their foreign policy statement, that our new foreign policy is basically we're the mob bosses of the Americas. And Russia and China, you get to be your own mob bosses and split up countries how you want, but don't touch our stuff. We're going to extract all the resources out of our countries. You do you, but these are our countries. Don't touch them.
Are you talking about the Monroe Doctrine?
Donroe Doctrine. Have you not heard it called this now? That's what Trump has been calling it. The
Donroe.
Yeah, the Donroe Doctrine.
Oh,
that's what he's calling it. He's calling it the Donroe Doctrine. That all of North and South America is ours.
Credit where credit's due. That's kind of funny. I kind of like
terrible.
That.
The Donroe Doctrine. That's what it's being called.
Wow.
That we own it. It's all ours. Right. And he's literally saying that. Greenland's ours. Venezuela's ours.
Trump-fest destiny.
So yes, because I'm going to totally, because I came prepared to agree that this is a little crazy what we did, right? We are kind of breaking the mold of what has traditionally been for the Pax Americana era that we've enjoyed for the last
for our lifetimes.
Yes.
Ish,
this is sort of we've destroyed.
We did a lot of this in the 70s and 80s. We just don't remember it, right? Our CIA killed the leaders of Panama and Guatemala.
So
we did
have
all
done
of
this
that
before.
in the 70s and 80s. Yes, we just haven't done it recently.
We've been a lot more civilized.
Even Colombia, we did a coup there, but it seemed to be more justified at the time. Of look, they're really doing bad stuff. This is actual.
It was always about our corporations. It was always about our.
Probably was.
Panama was
But-
about our corporations. Guatemala was about our corporations. If they don't play nice with our corporations, our government and our military does the bidding of our corporations. Like,
Right.
who are we kidding? That is what they do. They just did it again. We just haven't done it for like 30 years, and now we're back to doing it. And I
Well-
was like, oh, maybe we were enlightened. No, we were just
I think
waiting
we
for
kinda-
the
We're not
assholes to
enlightened.
come back over and take power again.
Do you think we were enlightened?
For 30 years? I
we
mean,
were more civilized
I
about
think
this.
Or for like 30 years, we weren't doing it.
At the very
Really,
least, our
like-
government hit it better from us.
Yeah, I think they were doing it economically, right?
Yeah.
So I think they were doing it economically, not through violence, through like militarily.
'Cause-
Economically, we're like, meh, okay, we're just going to put sanctions on you until you do our bidding, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Now
that's
we're just
the-
like, no, we'll kill you.
No, that's the funny thing, because the last 20, 30 years, I would say, like, you know, we had the Desert Storm in Afghanistan, and like, I'm agreeing with Josh, like, I would much rather have something like this than anything
Yeah.
that they were like, our boots on the ground, us trying to like govern
it was
these
terrible.
people and
Oh,
this,
it's stupid.
stupid, idiotic, bled us out, like
Totally agree.
so many lives wasted.
I was opposed to both of those wars.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I was opposed to those, right?
Well,
Like, yeah.
I think we actually had a podcast where we talked about this, where I said, I wish we had in Iraq, we'd been like, okay, boom, we just blew up Saddam Hussein, get a new leader.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it right this time, we're going to do it again. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, you guys figure it out, but we didn't like where you were going with that. So we strong armed. Yes, we totally strong armed, but we did it we killed Saddam and 30 people that were around him. And
But
sorry.
instead, we created a crazy insurgency and a whole generation of people that hate us.
Yeah.
And hundreds
What
of
a
thousands
mess.
of people died. Like,
Yeah, and trillions of dollars, but
yeah.
Mhm.
But
in Afghanistan, we didn't even win. We never even won.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all on the politicians. Let me be clear, not the military. The military did a great job moving in. And then when the politicians came and took over, that's when we created an insurgency. And I could go into that on how we created the insurgency. It's so brain deadly stupid.
well, so I'm just and
glad you didn't
that's the
blame
point I'm
me for
making.
that, Josh. I thought for sure you were going to blame me.
No,
It wasn't our
that's the
military. It was
politicians.
Ryan's fault.
Ryan
as-
started the insurgency.
And that's my point. As far as foreign policy goes, I would much rather do this than any kind of like invasion.
Well, I'd rather
Or-
not do this.
Yeah,
But if
I would
we're-
rather
if-
just
if
not.
we're
do
gonna-
this.
If we are
Yeah.
going to intervene, yeah, this is cleaner. It's
It's
smarter.
cleaner. Yes.
I don't think we should intervene, but
Now,
I'll get to that at the end.
yeah. Well, so I guess so. A couple things thoughts or points that I wanted to make was that I think so. I think this is Trump being, what's the word where you preemptive strike or something, preemptively clearing this problem off the board in anticipation of an inevitable conflict in Asia, which I would 100% agree with. But is he almost like bringing it about by doing this? Is he one justifying the other nations and like they're like, oh, okay,
I don't
well, you
think
did
so.
that, we're gonna do whatever we want.
Because
And-
my take on it, because I like what you're saying, but my take on it is now the whole world just saw, oh, the U.S. went in with no problem and took out this guy that was pissing off Trump, and Trump said, like, yeah, get in line, or we're going after you next. He's said that, and now there's crap going on in Iran. I honestly think, with maybe the exception of China, the whole world just took notice and went, oh, the U.S. is willing to do that again. They've done it
Well-
before. Now they're ready to do it again. Where like Biden was so feckless, none of these guys cared. Obama wasn't going to do it. So I think because again, all Xi Jinping has to do is kick the can 3 years down the road and go, all right, is the U.S. toothless again? Now I can take Taiwan. Because right now Trump just showed everybody he's ready to he's ready to send he's ready to fight.
Well, I'm saying from the other standpoint of like, I mean, it's like Russia wanting to invade Ukraine to take over its resources, and we're like, no. And they're like,
Yeah, but now
We can do
Trump is totally conceding, right? Like he doesn't really want to defend Ukraine, because
doesn't.
because of the new Donroe Doctrine, right?
Because we're about to take Greenland.
Yes. Real quick, on Tom's point, I just had to look this up because I caught it in brief and I thought it was funny. Tom was saying, like, this may actually be what starts the World War III with China, right?
Yeah.
Did either of you catch what Trump posted on Truth Social on December 26th?
No.
December 26th.
Yeah, he said, enjoy, this is a direct quote, enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas.
Wait, is he referring
just that?
No, I mean, it was a longer
context?
rant, right? It was a longer rant about Democrats and Jeffrey Epstein. But that was the very last thing that he put in there was enjoy what may be your last Merry Christmas. Now, I'm not going to try and read way more into it, right? But a lot of people were like, does he know something that we don't know? Is he starting a war? Is this the end of the world, right? I just had to bring it up because Tom was like, he's starting World War III. And I'm like, maybe.
Yeah. Like, 100%. We are moving into a period of conflict. Like that's just like that's not even a question in my mind. But it's a matter of him, at least we would have like gone in with some moral dignity with it all. But like, it's like, okay, well, we're just as bad as everybody else. And it's so that antagonistic move I don't like. And then he's talking about the oil and that we're going to sell the oil and we're going to profit from it. The Americans and he said, and the Venezuelans will profit too, benefit. He did say that, but but that was almost like an afterthought of we'll give something to them too.
We'll give them $50, right? Like maybe they'll have food, but we don't care about them.
What it felt like. And I'm like,
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty weird.
Now,
now that's appalling. That's immoral, unethical.
Now he's talking about taking Greenland. Like, we're going to buy Greenland.
We're not buying it. Denmark's not selling it.
For a real good deal.
Yeah. So you see all of these ships we have parked outside Greenland with all these guns and all these ships we sent to Denmark just to negotiate?
Right.
What's your best price there, Danes?
Well, so let's...
Can't you go any lower?
So I have two more. Let's come back to this foreign policy stuff. Okay. I would really like your take. I mean, because this was not, it's an official foreign policy statement of the federal government under Trump. And they're literally saying we get to divide up the hemispheres, that North and South America is now ours. Like we get to control this. And they're kind of giving other parts of the world to different, major powers. What's your take on this? Like, I thought we were past this. That there's self-determination in Chile. They get to make their own decisions, and now our government is basically like, no, they don't. Chile's ours. We get to extract whatever resources we want. It's ours.
Do you guys know who Peter Zeihan is? Zeihan?
Doesn't ring a bell.
No. He's like I don't know how I describe him. He's like a foreign policy like analyst, but he does talks. He's like on YouTube everywhere. But he's been talking about this for years that the U.S. the world is in a period of deglobalization, meaning that the rules after World War II were essentially that the U.S. was like, we rule and we're making the rules, and the rules are nobody fights and you all play fair and everyone can trade with each other. And he's essentially saying that is the atmosphere in which China was able to prosper as well as it did. It wouldn't have been able to do that without globalization, but that's now breaking down, right? We're now in a period of deglobalization. America's pulling back. We're like, hey, America first. We don't care about Ukraine. We don't care about this crap. We do care about Taiwan, but just because it helps us.
Because of the chips.
But this is almost like, and so therefore, ergo, like this is a natural consequence. Like we're gonna take care of our backyard. And we're not necessarily giving you permission, but we're just saying we're going to take care of our backyard, and you do your thing.
And by take care, you mean we control it and we get to do whatever we want, and screw all the people who live in Latin America. They now serve us.
Haven't they always? But like, we're just going to make sure that happens, right?
We've always done it economically, right? Now we're just going to do it by force.
Let's make it official.
Yeah.
Well, we were before, right? But it's now more egregious, right? It's much more blatant. So,
Josh, thoughts?
Well, okay. Again, I'll try to push back a little bit just to make the conversation interesting. there
You could
is
just agree with me.
no. Well, there's a part of me that recognizes the U.S. does need to. Pax Americana is not working in the present status quo because America is about to fail because of our debt. We have been policing the entire world. We have this giant military, but guess what? Like as Tom was saying, our backyard is overgrown. Like we're not taking care of what's happening here. Our debt's running out of control. We got some serious problems, and there should be a degree of isolationism that takes place because the whole world has just come to go, yeah, America will take care of it. We don't need to spend any money on defense, or whatever problem arises, America will take care of it. But at the same time, they hate us. And all these countries take our money left and right, and we're shipping out billions of dollars to all these countries that hate us.
Put tariffs on us.
Well, not even that. Like,
Can we just be clear that the net flow of money is to the U.S., not from the U.S.?
Okay, but still, we take taxpayer dollars from the citizens and give it to Egypt and Pakistan and countries that literally hate us, and then our corporations siphon the money from those countries, and the corporations get it.
Yes,
this is not a sustainable situation. Okay, well, again, we have the oligarchs in the U.S. that are benefiting from interventionist policies. But the American people aren't. We have problems here. So we need to stop. There does need to be a degree of, and isolationism is not even the right word. But this is
America
such a
first?
Kind of, but we still have the same problem exists. Even if we let China and Russia start gobbling up countries, we still have this oligarchical structure all over the world, but especially in America, where our corporations are plundering these other countries, but the taxpayers are the ones paying for it. We're the ones paying for the military. We're the ones paying for the ability for them to go in there and take the resources. We're the ones giving them money to appease them. The corporations aren't paying the $80 billion that we sent to Ukraine. You and I are, right? Yeah. We're paying for that, but then our big corporations that are making the weapons and stuff, they're making lots of money doing this. This is the problem. So there does need to be a shift. Pax Americana is, I think it's failed. We can't police the world anymore because
breaking down. Yeah,
we don't have the ability to do it. And the selfish part of me is the rest of the world is just taking it for granted, and they don't want to defend themselves. They want to take our money, and they don't want to build militaries, and they want to thumb their nose at Russia and China. But they ain't going to fight them. Europe's not going to fight China.
Well, it's like NATO contribution where nobody was paying their fair share except the U.S., and Trump went over and was yelling at them about it, right? Yeah. And they were like, whoa. And you're like, so, yeah.
A part of me is like, fine, if you guys don't want to contribute, you go fight Russia. Good luck. Let's see how well that works for you.
Interesting.
I guess what I'm getting to is I don't like it, but I think it's inevitable. Like, we're entering a new period, which is, deglobalization, and the Pax Americana is over, and now I think we're going to see more stuff like this.
Okay. That's actually a pretty good segue into my last little point that I wanted to make on this.
Because we'll probably all sum up in a similar fashion. Can I interject one thing that I just think is funny?
Sure.
So I believe it was it Biden that put a bounty on Maduro's head?
I don't know.
I thought I heard that, but there was several high-ranking Democrat politicians that said Maduro's a terrible guy and we need to get rid of him. Somebody should get rid of him. We should put a bounty on him. We need to get rid of this guy. And they were quite vocal about that during Biden's administration. And then Trump did it, and guess what all of them said? Trump's a horrible person. How dare he go and remove a sitting president? Like, they all backtracked on this. And it's so dang funny because Trump did the thing that they said. Now they're all pissed off about it. But they all were calling for this for years. I just thought that was really funny.
Trump was the first one to put a bounty on his head, and then the Biden administration increased it.
Okay, so there you go. So the Democrats were on board until Trump did it. And now they're all pissed off about it.
Yeah, I saw some of that too. So Schumer called out Trump and criticized him for not doing anything about Maduro, and then criticized him when he did something. And so
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
That's pretty gross.
Well, I did want to pose that question of like, should we have taken out Maduro? Like, as from if we had just said, like, we just gonna get rid of him because he's a bad dude, and this is a gift to the people of Venezuela. Like, should we have done that?
Okay, so you're changing the rationale, right?
And I think I already agreed with Josh.
Yeah, so I agreed with Josh that it's like if we genuinely were saying, hey, you lost the election, you're a dictator, your people don't love you, and your country is suffering underneath you, so some people may die, and I hate that, right? That's terrible, but we are going to get rid of Maduro. Then the moral calculus shifts, right? Like we're trying to do good in the world for the millions of Venezuelans who want this person gone. I can see the moral calculus playing out very differently for me in that situation. In this situation, right? So I think, yes, I wouldn't love it, but I would be like, yeah, I think that makes sense, right? Like, that's fair. We did the right thing for the right reasons. What we did here may have been the right thing, but for totally the wrong reasons. And I can't get behind the moral calculus behind hundreds of people dying for this, right? That to me just feels gross. 100 people died for this. Yeah, that just feels wrong. And I think the bigger ramifications, which is my last point, I think are deeply problematic. And so here's my last point. What if, I don't know, country X, pick a country, doesn't really matter. What if country X came in and took Trump and Melania tomorrow?
Have a lot of people that were happy.
I mean, haven't we basically just said, like, this is allowed now? On the world stage, this is allowed. Like, if they said Trump is engaged in fraud and corruption in our country, we have charges for him. We're just going to come into your country and we're going to take him and, like, do something about it. And let's say it was China, right? So now it's actually a world power that could potentially pull something like this off and do it, right?
If we're going to take this to a logical extreme, it would have to be Trump was at like a G8 summit or something, and they grabbed him because they're not coming into America. And that actually changes it. If somebody invades America with the goal of taking out Trump, you're dead. We're going to kill you.
It's hypothetical.
Yeah. But if they snatched him somewhere.
But this is what we just did, Josh.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it's not feasible for that China could get in.
Well, I mean, it's probably more feasible than you think, right? But let's say
at least to kill him.
Sure. Let's say kill him. That they did it. Right?
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm not pushing back on that.
Haven't we just said, as a country, this is totally acceptable foreign policy?
Well, no. What we said was it's acceptable for the United States to do this.
Yeah, well, exactly.
But don't you try it.
Yeah.
Well, don't you try it.
Yeah. No, but it's might makes right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That is the point. Foreign policy.
That's it. That's the key.
And so if somebody did it, I think we would just have to be like, okay, cool, thanks, appreciate you.
If you can pull this off, then go.
Then you deserve it, right? Then you deserve it. And this is the part that's just like, so we already talked about the moral calculus of people dying, right? But we set a precedent by saying this is acceptable behavior. If you're a big enough and powerful enough country that you can just go in and take the leader of a country, that's acceptable. So if Russia wants to do this to Lithuania tomorrow, or to Estonia, or to Finland, then we're just going to have to sit back and be like, well, we don't necessarily love it, but we'd be hypocrites if we said you can't do that because we totally just did that, right? This is the precedent that we just established, and why I just am like, no, I don't know that I am okay with this, right?
Well, I mean, we already mentioned this. We established this precedent years ago. We've done this before. We've just reestablished that this is now acceptable again.
Yeah, but I would even agree with you, Ryan, that we've almost digressed to a degree where it's like we're moving back into like
banana republic.
We take care of our own, and if I guess a more tribalistic global atmosphere, right?
Yeah, more barbaric times where people were less evolved. That's exactly where I've come down on this. Are we ready to kind of wrap it up? 'Cause
However, I
There's a
would
however.
I would say we actually were always like this. The only reason we were more civilized is because America reaped all the benefits, right? Like,
maybe.
meaning if the Pax Americana system wasn't working, we would have gone back to this much sooner. And I think the reason we're going back to it now is because Pax Americana isn't working anymore. And
Maybe.
it's just,
I don't want to think that, but that might be true.
oh, God, I can't see it any other way.
Okay.
We were never civilized. Is my
That's sad.
opinion.
We've probably always been run at the highest levels by people that are not civilized, that they're just
Well,
power hungry.
it's not that they're not civilized. They're self-interested pieces of shit human beings who are sociopaths and don't care who suffers as a result. And all they care about is money for them, right?
Power and money.
Yeah, power and money. And I think that's largely true, and I don't know that we have a solution for that. So
Okay. Well, I'll wrap up my thoughts on this. Okay. I've gone back and forth the last couple of days on wondering on the morality of this kind of thing. Because I've seen these Venezuelans. I know Venezuelans that are thrilled that this guy's gone, right?
Yep.
So in my mind, I'm going, was that the right thing to do? To go and Ryan mentioned before, maybe this was the right thing to do for the wrong reasons.
Right.
In my mind, even if Trump's motivation had been to free the Venezuelan people, I've come down on, I think it's the wrong thing to do for the right reasons. If that were his motivations. The reality of the situation, I think it's the wrong thing to do for the wrong reasons. Okay, and that comes down to Ryan's going to hate this, but I was going back and forth. Maybe it was good that he's gone. Maybe it was good we did this. But then yesterday I saw a random video by Jordan Peterson, and it was completely unrelated to this. He wasn't talking about this at all. It was something else. And he was talking about Jesus. And he said the third trial of Jesus was he turned down power. When he was approached by Satan, and when he was approached by whoever, and he was offered power, he said, get behind me, Satan. No, I'm not taking power. And he kind of delved into that. When you use power, when you seek power to affect other people in this way, that's not what Christ would do. And that's not what he ever did. He never forced anybody to anything. He died so we could have our agency. He died so we could make choices for ourselves. So when you seek power, you're going to use power. So when we use our power to go and remove people we don't like, even if they're bad people, that's not the Christ-like thing to do. It's wrong to me for America to project its power in an offensive way like this. And Tom even said maybe Trump was thinking this is a pre-move to something bigger. In my mind, and again, Ryan's going to hate this, I think America loses all of God's protection when we start becoming offensive. If we're going to go fight a defensive fight, if somebody attacks us and we have to defend ourselves, fine, let's go in and let's go all in. But the second that we start any kind of offensive action where we're projecting our power, I think we lose all of God's protection. And I think it's morally the very wrong thing to do. That's where I fall on this. I don't think it's the right thing to do to go and remove these dictators, even if they're terrible people, because just because we have the power to do so. I think it's wrong. I think morally it's repugnant.
You should leave it up to the Venezuelan people to deal
Exactly.
with.
Exactly.
Meaning, and like for them to rise up and throw him out if he's.
They chose socialism. So if you guys hate it, get rid of the guy.
They chose it way back when, right?
Sure.
So to bring you back to like your point, they've been going around killing all the opposition, right?
When it still sounded good.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
so in the
but
1990s,
every dictator
they chose it. But
every dictator ever will go around and kill the opposition. At some point, the people have to go, enough is enough. Now we have to risk it. Now we have to take the responsibility. Now we have to choose freedom. Versus us.
So bad that enough people are going to risk being killed.
Well, and that's easy for me to say. Easy for me to say because I'm not in that position. But at the same time, is it moral? Like we went into Iraq and Afghanistan under that guise of Operation Iraqi Freedom, and what happened? the people didn't choose that. We chose that for them, and they essentially ended up rejecting it because our ideals and the way we tried to govern them were not compatible with who they are. So when you thrust your ideals in under the guise of freedom on somebody, you might have you might be thinking this is the right thing to do. You might have their best interest in heart. Hopefully you do. It doesn't mean that they're ready for freedom or that they're going to accept it or that it's going to work or that it's even the right thing to do. Because are you taking away their agency? Like that's the big question there. It all comes down to agency for me. And when I don't know, the Venezuelans, they're dealing with this. They're choosing this. They're not. I mean, part of the problem is that, like, we're seeing this in England right now. 20 years ago, they gave up their guns or something like that, and now you can be arrested for bad tweets. It's hard to fight back when you don't have guns. I get that, but it's morally wrong to use power to enforce your will on somebody else. That's where I come down on it.
Mm. All right. Okay. Sounds like we're in agreement on a general basis. Generally.
Tom, did you have a sum up? Or do you want me to go
No,
next?
we talked about everything. Yeah.
Josh was doing general sum up, so it was like general sum up. No. Yes.
Are we going to talk about
Oh, the
ICE?
other.
Yeah,
Yeah. Can
we
we
got
just take
time.
like 1 second for me to? So it's not that I like radically disagree with Josh. Overall, do I think we did the right thing? I don't think so because it was doing maybe the right thing for the wrong reasons. Had we done this right after Maduro lost the election and then stole the election, I
Mm-hmm.
think my calculus would have been different. And if we were like, and if no one was saying, now give us all your oil, right? I think I would have been like, okay, that's pretty gross and I don't love it. But the people in Venezuela, this is what, like, they literally didn't vote for this guy. And we're going to go in and depose him and just be like, sorry, like, our bad. I know we killed some of your people, but you didn't want this person. We took him out. Done. Doing it now, we're doing maybe the right thing for the wrong reasons. And it's really gross. So morally, I just can't get behind it. People died for oil wealth. That's what this was, and it just makes me really sick. So, yeah, he was a terrible person. Is a terrible person. Should not have been in power. But I think we did maybe the right thing for the wrong reasons. And no, wrong, bad.
All right. Agreement.
Okay, you wanted to talk about the last one?
Yeah. Let's
All
talk
right.
about ICE. So, okay, let's talk about the recent. So, it sounds like someone just recently was killed in Portland by ICE agents, but we want to talk about the one in Minneapolis. This is the lady that was killed in her car 2 days ago, yesterday, and that basically ICE agents surrounded her. She wasn't an illegal immigrant.
No,
She was
she's white.
just, yeah, like kind of she was a protester, basically.
Well,
And
all day long. They said that she was following them around all day long, getting in their way,
right,
trying to disrupt ICE operations.
right. Which appears to be pretty common in some areas where you've got like the protesters at night, like making sound so they can't sleep in the hotel, and then outside trying to block their cars and just trying to generally like inhibit their operations. But essentially, this is where it's interesting. And it seems pretty clear, but this is the thing I want to talk about is there's a number of things that have happened. Like there's a video that came out. Have you guys watched the video?
I
So
watched one video
Of when she gets
showing,
shot?
yeah, of her
Yeah.
her getting shot.
it's the rear of the vehicle, and she starts driving away, and then you hear pop, pop, and then
Yeah.
her car just kind of goes off into a
It's
telephone
a pole.
pole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had to watch it a couple times to figure out what was going on. But like I've watched a bunch and seen a number of things, and it's pretty clear there was an officer in front of the
Right in
car.
front of the vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
but
she
I
starts.
mean, when I saw it, it wasn't like she was driving fast and she wasn't aiming at
No,
him. She was driving past him.
she might have been trying to get.
She's initially aimed right at him. It
Yeah.
looks to me like she starts to turn the wheel about the same time that he shoots her. But
Yeah.
she accelerates quite quickly right at him.
I didn't see a rapid acceleration. She was going
Yeah.
super slow.
No,
Well,
she accelerates.
she was accelerating, but yeah, it might have been 5 miles an hour,
Yeah.
right?
My
But
gut take is she wasn't actually trying to hit him. It looks like she accelerates
yes,
and starts to turn,
right.
but right, she gets shot right as she starts to turn. Okay.
I agree. She
So
wasn't.
are
I
you
don't
guys
think she
defending
was
ICE again?
trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I
jeez.
mean, it's not so much that I'm defending ICE. I'm just pointing out when you're surrounded by a bunch of
They were
federal
not
agents
surrounded.
or
They were surrounding her car this time.
yeah, let me say what I'm saying.
Oh,
When you're surrounded by people with guns, if you act like an idiot, you're probably going to get shot. Okay. When you have, and it's not just ICE. This
that
could be
doesn't justify it, though.
Ryan. Just listen. When you have cops surrounding you and they're giving you a lawful order, because whether you agree or not, there are federal agents. They were giving her a lawful order to get out of the car. And what does she do? She accelerates directly at a guy with a gun. Doesn't matter if they're not cops. If you're surrounded by rednecks or gangbangers and they have guns and you drive your car at one of them, what's going to happen? You're probably going to have more holes in your body. That's how this works. That's the calculus. When you act like an idiot and you antagonize people and they're armed and then you drive a megaton killing machine, which a car is, right at somebody, you're probably going to get shot. Okay? This is, you got to thin the herd somehow, I guess. This is natural selection at work because the lady, whether it's justified or not, we don't even have to go into that. If you're going to act like that,
going into it.
you're going to get shot. No, I'm trying to.
This
just
is why I
point
didn't
out
want to talk
people,
about it again. You guys already said you're pro ICE shooting people.
No,
I'm just like
that's
I'm
not what I
on board with
said.
this.
That's why we
It's
need to talk about.
100% what you're
That's why we
saying.
need to talk about this because what you just tried to put in my mouth that
ICE
that
gets
argument,
to shoot people if they
No.
feel threatened.
no,
That's literally what you just said.
That
If
is
I feel
literally
threatened
not
and
what
I'm
I
an
just
ICE
said.
agent, I get to
So
shoot
that's-
you, and that's
Tom's
totally
funny
fine.
'cause
Tom, is that what I just said?
No, you didn't say that.
Okay, and Ryan's argument is you're literally justifying ICE. You're literally just said that. You're using the word literally wrong. I did not say any of that. That's why we need to talk about
Okay,
it.
let's
because
recap
I've
what
just
Josh
been
said.
mischaracterized
If
so
you're
badly.
surrounded by a bunch of people with guns and you do something stupid, then you are going to get shot.
Yeah.
That's what Josh said. I heard
Yes.
exactly what Josh said.
And what
that means is
no.
if I'm protesting
gosh.
ICE,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
protesting ICE, and I decide, you know what? I don't want to get out of my car. I'm going to drive slowly away. ICE gets to shoot me, and that's okay because I did something stupid
Is that what
when I'm
I
surrounded
said?
by a bunch of people.
Is that what I said?
That's pretty damn close to what you said,
Well,
Josh.
I
Tom,
would agree
is that
with
even
what
close to what I said?
Ryan, what you said the first time was if you're threatening the officers, I could get shot, and I 100%
Yes.
agree with that.
That's what I said.
It-
I didn't say ICE was justified. I didn't say you should get shot. I didn't say any of that stuff that you just said.
Wait,
That's why we
so-
have to talk about it because you completely mischaracterized
You're
everything
drawing a
that I
line
said.
that makes no sense. There's no clear
Then let's
line
talk
here.
about it because the straw man argument that you just thrust upon me,
I'm not sure I understand. You're like,
you clearly
if you're in a
don't.
car surrounded by people with guns and you do something stupid, they get to shoot you.
No. That right there.
I'm agreeing with that. If you do something stupid, you could get killed 100%.
Yes,
Don't
that.
do something
Okay,
stupid when you're surrounded by
So,
cops.
so you're
No.
you're
Let's be
fighting
precise
over
with
this
our
word
language.
like they get to shoot you
No.
versus they're going to shoot you.
No, let's be precise with our language and actually understand what these words mean. If you do something stupid around people with guns and you've been antagonizing them, you might get shot. And we can even change that word to you'll probably get shot if you're going to do something that makes
And
them
is
feel
that
threatened.
acceptable?
That's not what I'm. That's not even the
Answer
argument.
that question.
Oh,
Is it
100%
acceptable?
It's acceptable.
That's not the
Tom
point
is
I'm
saying
making,
it's
though.
acceptable.
Okay.
Are you saying it's acceptable for them
It's
to
not-
shoot these people?
It's not the point I'm trying to make. You're not listening. Just listen. You're not listening. Take a deep
I don't know
breath.
what your point is.
Take
What's
a
your
deep
point
breath.
then?
My point is, let's try a different scenario.
I took a deep breath.
If somebody has a gun
Yes.
and you do something stupid in front of them, you might get shot. Full stop.
Yeah, but that's just people having guns. Sure, that's just people having guns.
No.
No, 100%.
If somebody has a knife or a baseball bat,
sure,
and you antagonize them,
no, you didn't say antagonize them. You said do something stupid. If I go whatever, right, or if I stab myself and they shoot me, right, according to your logic, I did something stupid. Now they get to shoot me.
No, they don't get to shoot you.
What do you mean?
You might get shot. It's not that you get. You don't understand the point I'm trying to make.
You're flipping two words.
No. And it's very important.
To shoot you versus you might get shot.
I'm
Literally,
not justifying
it's two different
anything.
words.
I'm not justifying anything. I'm trying to point out something that's very important, and you just clearly don't get it. And this is the scary disconnect for me. This is quite important because so many liberals in the country, like another example of this is when a black guy gets pulled over by the police and then he runs or tries to make a break for it.
Yeah, if he's running away, he shouldn't get shot.
But if
he's running away, he should not get shot.
It's not a should thing. Anybody. It's not a should thing. I'm not justifying anything. I'm not making a moral equivocation. I'm saying if somebody is armed and you act like an idiot, you might get shot. Okay, that's just a factual statement, right? If you're walking through your house and you happen to have a pipe, and I burst into your house like a crazy man, I might get hit by a pipe. Yes or no?
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, that's
Josh,
the point I'm trying to make.
If I'm walking outside,
just don't get it.
If I'm walking outside, I might get a sunburn.
Yes, that's the risk. That's the risk you take.
If I'm alive, I might die from a meteor strike.
Okay, now you're just being
all
silly
of these
because
things
you don't
are
understand
true.
the point.
No, this is
you don't
literally
understand
what
the point.
If I swim in the ocean, I might get eaten by a shark.
Yes.
If I drive a car, I might die in a car accident.
Okay, but
what's your point?
You disagree with what Josh is saying.
He doesn't understand
like
what
those
I'm
are all true. Like that's
you have no idea what I'm
true.
saying.
No, I don't, because you just keep saying the same thing, right? Like,
okay, let me give you another example.
If I do something stupid in front of anybody, I could potentially die.
Yes. Okay.
Yep.
If you swim in the ocean, you might get eaten by a shark.
Yes.
If you drape meat all over yourself and swim in the ocean, you'll probably get eaten by a shark. There are things you can do to mitigate your risks. Okay. Antagonizing a man with a gun, whether he's an officer or not, when you antagonize somebody that's armed, you're not mitigating risk to yourself. You're taking really dumb chances.
So all you're saying is they've increased the probability that they're going to get shot.
Well, yeah. If you're antagonizing police officers, you're playing a dumb game. You're probably going to win a dumb prize. Okay. If you go out there and you're antagonizing armed ICE agents all day long, how can you honestly be surprised when you get shot when you drive your car at one of them?
So here's where the disconnect is. Tom then takes that and says, and that's justifiable. And you're not making that claim.
That's not the point I'm making. We can talk about the justification.
Okay.
Completely different
please
point.
Talk about the justification, because the probability thing is obvious.
But you don't understand.
If I run around,
clearly
poking
don't understand
at a bunch of people with guns, and I'm like, you guys are stupid, blah, 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 then I have increased the probability that I am going to get shot. That's your whole point. I don't care about that.
Liberals don't understand this point.
What do you mean we don't understand it? That's basic probability. This is literally what I teach.
But liberals don't seem to understand this, because every time that somebody does something stupid around, like that other ICE agent that we talked about before, where he was surrounded by these anti-ICE protesters and he felt threatened, and I think he shot somebody or ran somebody over. I don't even remember.
Yeah, he hit the car.
He shot somebody.
And they shot her. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen? And liberals just don't seem to understand. I can antagonize these armed people, and then they act so surprised when they get shot.
So there's a clear disconnect in what you're saying versus what should happen. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about should.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. Because all you've said at this point is, if you do stupid things, the probability of you getting hurt goes up.
Yes, and liberals don't understand this.
Of course they understand this, Josh.
No, they don't. They really don't.
Maybe you're not believing they understand this in the context of ICE, but are you really want to tell me that, like, pick random liberal on the street, right? And if you sit them down and say, hey, if you drive your car drunk really, really fast, does that increase or decrease the odds of you getting in an accident? And the
So
typical liberal is
in
going
the
to be like,
context,
don't know. I have no idea. This makes no sense to me.
that's
I
not
don't
what I'm
understand
saying.
probability. Do you see what I'm saying, though? Like, that's what you're saying is they don't understand probability. This is probability. You're making a probability argument. So let's leave the probability argument, which I think
All
is
right.
pretty obvious, and get to
It's not, though.
what
It's
should
not.
happen.
Okay.
What?
Go for
Yeah,
it.
what
You
should
go. I
happen?
tried
What
to make
should
a
happen?
point.
But this
I
is
get your point. I don't think you understand that. I get your point.
I honestly don't think you do.
the the issue is that there's a fog of war, right? Where things are happening. You're up in someone's face. You're antagonizing. They don't know what you're gonna do. They don't know what's gonna happen. That's when the crap happens that Josh is talking about. Like the likelihood of something going wrong is rapidly increasing every second that you're like if you're throwing a hand at him, or
Sure.
is he gonna shove me? I don't even know. Does he have a weapon in his hand? I have no idea, right?
I get all of that. So then the question becomes, is it justifiable for them to shoot people?
If they feel threatened, yeah, 100%.
Yes.
And like I said, I don't think she was trying to hit him. But as the ICE agent, you see a car coming at you, you have a millisecond to make a decision. She's rapidly accelerating towards you. And he probably didn't have time to jump out of the way. He made a split-second decision. He felt threatened by her, and she is antagonizing him all day long. If that's the game that you're going to play as that lady, you're going to win a stupid prize. That's the point. Yeah, he's justified in defending himself, 100%.
I didn't even that's not even the reason I wanted to talk about this.
This is the exact same thing that we said last time. This is why I didn't want to talk about it. Do you have something else to offer here?
Yes, this is what because so there's a couple things. The bullet hole in the car is in the front of the car, so like it's in the windshield, and you couldn't have hit it unless you were standing in front of the car. Like he wasn't off to the side; he's in front of the car. Like it's just pretty clear if you see the bullet hole of the SUV. It's in the front of the windshield, and so and I was reading officers have to treat a moving vehicle as a fatal weapon because it is, and a deadly weapon. Excuse me. And to me, this is open, close, shut. It's so obviously justified. The guy was standing in front of the car to keep her there, right? She starts accelerating. He doesn't know what's she might. I agree with Josh. She probably wasn't trying to kill him, but he doesn't. He's obviously going to feel threatened. She might have run him over accidentally and killed him, right? Mm-hmm. It's we don't know, and that's the problem. Is this fog of what's going to happen? But this. So the problem is I've seen so many posts since of she's earned $500,000 on her GoFundMe, the victim, and then there's there's a post here. I just posted it in the channel. It's white people waking up to the fact that the U.S. government can literally murder you in the street on live TV and then call you a terrorist and walk away to a promotion and bonus. And this is so, and I've seen so many posts of look at this, look at she's a hero and she did all this stuff, and what on earth? And yeah, it's tragic, it's horrible, but yeah, she was doing something really dumb, and that there's a saying that I keep hearing, and it's that truth is now far right, and I was meaning truth is being treated as far right. When people are telling the truth, it's whoa, you're far right. You're conspiracy. When Joe Rogan's questioning the vaccine, or I'm going to take alternatives. You're oh, you're far right. You're far right, and you're and the media's done that. They're oh, these guys are far right, And it was the Nick Shirley on last week's thing about the Somali fraud stuff. CNN did a thing, and he was he's a MAGA YouTuber thing, right? He's far right. So you dismiss him. They didn't even do an interview on whether what he was saying was true. They did an interview on trying to discredit him. And are you sure? Did you validate? What time of the day did you come and show up? Right? And they're questioning him to try to discredit him. And I'm are we trying to get the truth or are you just trying to discredit him? It's so weird. And I'm like, I don't understand. Like, if anyone looks at this, they would like actually studied it. They'd be like, no, this was open and shut, right? But like, it's this strange, like, of like, oh, she's a hero and this and that, and ICE is just killing everybody left and right. And you're like, no, that's not what happened at all. But like, why are we taking? I keep seeing this over and over, right? It's like Trump wants a blood. It's going to be a bloodbath. Oh, Trump wants a bloodbath, and he's talking about the car industry. But nope, we run with it that he's going to kill everyone. He wants to kill people, and you're like, why do we keep taking stuff that's not true and just running with it, and like blatantly, and like I just keep seeing this, and like it's like this whole thing. The truth is far right, and like it's I don't understand it. I'm like, what's
I don't know
going
where you're
on?
looking.
I'm
Interesting.
seeing the same thing. Okay, I'm going to try to do this more calmly.
Am I wrong?
This
Is
is
it happening
no,
on both sides? Is it just as bad on the other side? Is it like
possibly, but I want to see less people getting shot. Okay, and that's why this boggles my mind. Exactly what Tom's saying here. I don't want this lady to get shot, but because the left media runs with this narrative of, oh, Trump's just killing people and ICE are just shooting people, so we should go and protest. No, there's armed officers trying to do their job. Whether you agree with that or not is not the point. If you're antagonizing them, you run the risk of getting shot. I don't want people to get shot, but the left blows past that part of the narrative and just says they're just gunning people down. That is so problematic to me. That bothers the crap out of me because that just means more people are going to be incensed about this, and we're going to throw fuel on the fire, and more people are going to get shot. Instead of going, okay, everybody calm down. If you see somebody with a gun, don't try to drive your car at them. Maybe go in a different direction, right? That's why it's not an argument of probability. It's an argument of I don't even know how to phrase
Conceding to the authoritarian
it.
government?
No. That's not the point. If you want to go protest, you can go protest without getting gunned down. Okay? If you're going to go antagonize
Not
these guys
really.
with guns,
That also happens in the U.S.
where? Who's getting gunned down at sanctioned protests?
There was a car that drove over a bunch of people.
Okay, that's not the government doing it. That's crazy people doing it.
Sure. Well, it's not crazy
thing.
people. It's right-wing MAGA nuts who did that, right? Yeah. So, that legitimately happened, Josh. That was in Virginia.
All right. Well, I'm done trying to make the point.
If we
shoot
are,
everybody because you're not listening.
If our government is like in Iran, right? They're trying to protest, and their government
they're getting shot.
They're arrested, shot, brutalized. Like they are not being allowed. That's still. We're okay with people protest. In fact, we're okay with people trying to protest the ICE.
Yeah, that's fine.
But when they start trying to inhibit or block or obstruct their operations, that seems to be when stuff happens. In fact, I haven't seen a case where that hasn't been the case, where they're intentionally trying to stop the operations, then people are getting shot.
Yeah,
and
that's
like makes sense to me.
That's the point. That's the point we're trying to make, but it doesn't. It's clearly not getting through. Like there are smart ways to protest ICE, and there are dumb ways to protest ICE. Okay, the smart way is hopefully you can get your point across without escalating a situation where you get shot. The dumb way, you're probably going to get shot. That's the disconnect here. Stop
and
protesting.
That doesn't make you an authoritarian government if you're. If we're fighting back when they're trying to obstruct you, right? It's like you're still allowed to protest. It's still a free country, but like, you start trying to
might get shot.
Alter stuff, you get shot. I don't understand. Like, there seems to be this like, no, they're just shooting everybody. Hide your kids, hide your wife. They're shooting everybody in here. I'm like, no, not really.
They're shooting people when they feel threatened. That's what I'm seeing. Like we hold cops accountable when they, like there was that guy that the cop tried to arrest a black dude and he ran away, and the cop very calmly pulled his gun and shot him 12 times in the back. That guy's in jail, and he should be. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. When the cop feels threatened and then you get shot, and then I watched this hilarious video on YouTube. These two neighbors were fighting. They had restraining orders against each other, and one of them had a gun, and the other one is approaching him, and the guy with the gun keeps saying, "Don't come any closer. Don't come any closer." He warns him like 15 times. And the other guy's like, "Oh, you're such a pussy." And he pulls his shirt off. He's like, "Let's go." And he charges at the guy. And he gets shot. And he falls down screaming like a little girl and goes, "Why did you shoot me?" Just like, "I told you I was going to shoot you. I told you not to come any closer. And you ran at me in a threatening manner. And then you act surprised when I shoot you." That's the point I'm trying to make here. If you're going to antagonize people with guns, you might get shot. So stop doing that. There are better ways to protest.
So just to be clear, I didn't want to talk about this whole ICE thing because I literally said, are you guys just going to justify ICE doing what they did?
That's
and
not
what did
what
you
I
guys
did.
both do?
That's not what I did.
You literally just said this.
No.
They're justified in defending themselves if they feel threatened.
Anybody is. Anybody.
That's fine. This is why, like, this
That's
is
the
the
point
exact
I'm
same
getting at.
conversation. This is the exact same conversation we had the last time we talked about ICE. Literally nothing has changed in the conversation. You're saying they were justified because they felt threatened.
You're right. I'm going to stop trying to save idiot liberals. You're right.
I wanted to talk about this reaction. What appears to me to be like a detachment from reality is what it appears to be.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to figure out, that's what I want to talk about. And like to me, I keep going back to it. The truth is far right is like, is what it feels like. But like, I don't know. What am I missing?
Nothing. At the very, I think this is the major disconnect. Ryan's probably not seeing any of that being reported. He's probably not seeing the crazy stuff being reported in his news sources. But I've seen all of that. I've seen all of these crazy reactions saying, ICE is just gunning people down.
I'm not seeing any of this. Again, exactly. I read the New York Times and the Tampa Bay Times.
There's the disconnect.
And nobody in either of those newspapers
you get on social media.
No, I don't. This is my point. I largely avoid social media. I post once or twice a month. And now I'm like, I don't even want to do that. Social media is a cesspool. It's trash, and it just causes problems. It's terrible. I have zero interest in social media anymore. Occasionally I'll pull it up because I get a notification that Josh commented on something that's probably by some fantasy author that I don't know anything about, but Facebook thinks that I need to go see Josh's comment about somebody's shoe size or something. I don't need to see those things.
Never posted on that, but okay.
All right. There was something about, I don't remember what it was. Some fantasy author posted something and Josh posted a comment, and I don't even remember what it was. That's the only time that I go on Facebook. I get zero news from Facebook or X or any of the other platforms. None.
Well, okay, let's
So I'm not seeing the stuff that you guys are saying. Like, you guys are saying that the left is all out there saying this. The New York Times is not saying that. The Tampa Bay Times is not saying that. So what you're seeing is, I don't know, people who maybe aren't connected to reality posting on social media saying ICE is out shooting everybody. That's not what's happening in the Tampa Bay Times or the New York Times. So do you really want me to go out and get trash news? I don't want to get trash news. I have zero interest. I don't have enough time in my life to be wasting it getting trash news.
If we find an article that's like, that woman, she's a hero, what were the ICE
If you find that on the New York Times, send it to me. I will eat crow. I will pay for the crow. I will pay for the crow, and I will eat it on this podcast if the New York Times is like, she's a hero.
Major publications out there that aren't publishing stories about how heroic she is.
I have no idea. I told you the news sources that I'm reading.
So
what news source do you want me to have to waste my time reading? It's BBC, New York Times, Tampa Bay Times. Here.
Because you didn't read it, it must not be happening?
No, I'm not saying that. I literally just said it's probably happening on crappy news sources or social media. You're saying
those aren't legitimate anyway, so like...
Why would I care?
It's not legitimate.
Did CNN say she's a hero and ICE...
Probably.
unjustified killed
Right,
her.
but
I
no,
bet
I
I
get
can
what you're
find
saying,
that.
Ryan. It's that, and that's valid.
Well,
So
answer
we
Tom's
can
question. Then
all.
why is it happening?
Why is what happening? What happening?
Why do these people keep antagonizing ICE and getting shot?
Okay, so I don't know all the details. I was not there. I've seen one video on this because I knew we were talking about it, right? Did I see a news notification that a woman was shot by ICE in Minnesota? Yes. And that's basically all that I saw in the New York Times because I don't know if you've ever been on the New York Times' website. When they're doing breaking news, they'll have like, I don't know, 4 paragraphs with the latest information, and then that gets moved down as they get more information. Then it gets moved down as they get more information. And they're only posting stuff that's been verified. So nowhere in that news information that got moved down were they like, she was a hero. She never should have been killed, right? It was like woman was killed in a minivan because I don't know, she was surrounded by ICE officers or something. Like that was it. It was just news. It was just straight news. No one was commenting on whether she was a hero or not, whether it was justified or not. That just wasn't there in what I read.
Okay, here's the CNN headline. Mother of 3 who loved to sing and write poetry shot and killed by ICE in Minneapolis.
Okay.
All right, let me go through it.
So you're telling me I need to switch to CNN so I can
No,
get...
we just called out CNN and you said that,
Okay.
Yeah.
But okay, we'll agree. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
but we can't agree on that. That's the weird thing.
I already agreed with that, Josh.
Yeah.
I already agreed. And you're like, you don't get my point. And I was like, your point is so obvious that there's no point to get. Like I said, if you let's use Josh's example. If I cover myself in bloody meat and dive into a pool of sharks, there's a very good chance that I'm going to get eaten by a shark. I totally agree with that. If I antagonize a bunch of people with guns, does that increase the odds that I'm going to get shot? 100% I agree with your statement. What else do you want me to do? You still think that I'm not getting your point. I get your point. What is that?
You don't. We've been over it like 3 times.
I don't understand what else there is to get.
There's no headway.
Okay. We got some agreement on, but not necessarily what we want to agree on.
I don't understand. All right.
All right. Any
Not
last
worth it.
thoughts then? Parting thoughts? Ryan.
I'll go first so Ryan can actually give a real serious one. I give up. All you liberals can just get yourselves killed. Go for it. I don't care anymore. We need to thin the herd somehow, as my buddy TJ likes to say. So
You can what?
we need to thin the herd somehow.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't want to talk about it in the first place.
This is the worst ending ever. We can't end like this. This is terrible.
I literally said this is going to be the exact same podcast that we already did, and I think I was right.
We can just cut this off at the end, but if you want. Sorry, everyone. If you got here, we apologize. You got this far.
That's a better ending. Sorry.
All right. Okay, everybody.
Hey, I've got it.
Oh.
Don't swim with sharks. That's a bad idea.
There we go.
No, it's actually pretty cool. And they're actually
if you don't have
actually pretty
protection,
safe.
And you put a whole bunch of meat on you and you wrap yourself in blood, don't swim with sharks. That's
what could happen, Ryan?
It increases the odds that you're going to get eaten by a shark.
That's true.
There's the takeaway tonight.
All right, we're done. Bye, everybody.
Josh, we may not always agree when it comes to politics, even though we're trying, but there is one thing we agree on. There is only one way to clean up after going to the bathroom, and that's with a Lux bidet.
I've been a proud owner of a Lux bidet for years. I have literally owned a Lux Neo 320 since 2013. That's the warm water model. Talk about happy, fun, poopy time. When I leave the bathroom, I know I'm clean and ready to talk politics in a civilized manner.
Exactly. Using a toilet without a bidet is about as uncivilized as it gets. Civil conversations demand civil hygiene practices.
And that is why our listeners should get themselves a Lux bidet.
And just to be clear, Lux is not supporting one side or the other in this podcast. They support civil conversations and clean butts.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Finding Common Battlegrounds. The music is by Ben Sound. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the participants and not those of their employers. For more information or more episodes, you can find us at findingcommonbattlegrounds.com.